Hello and welcome to Fit News. I am your host, Jen Shaver, and joining me today, I have a very special guest, Sally Shaver Dubois. She has 2 master's degrees in education with over 25 years of experience as a wellness professional and an educator. She is a certified health coach, entertainer, professional speaker, and an author. As well as a wellness professional, Sally has helped people of all ages to live a healthy life and an active lifestyle. She has guided thousands of people to improve their lives. She's been a speaker since 2004 and is a member of the National Speakers Association and is a certified laughter leader through the World Laughter Tour. She's also an experienced entertainer, professionally trained musician, and has spent time doing on-air announcing at local radio stations. Sally resides in Ames, Iowa, and is married to her husband, Paul Dubois. Sally, thank you for taking the time to join us on Fit News today. Let's first go in. We both have that Shaver name, but we're not related. So let's tackle that first, right?
Which is kind of interesting.
I
have a second cousin who's also named Jen Shaver.
So there's another one of me running around,
there
right?
you go. It's kind of funny that we both have the same name, my maiden name. So
yes, yeah, that's great. Okay, so let's talk about, well, we know that laughter is medicine, right? We've all heard the statement, laughter is medicine. So let's talk about that, and let's talk about your background and how you got started with that.
yes, so just real quick, I mean, you sort of gave my background, but I started out as a teacher. My background is as a physical education and health teacher. But in about 1998 or so, I became Silly Sally the clown. And that really came about from me teaching some little preschoolers one day, and they just kept saying, they called me Silly Sally already, and they kept saying, oh, this is just like a birthday party. So I was kind of like, oh, that little entrepreneurial person in me. I decided that I saw how easily kids would laugh at things. And I had used puppets and different things with children for many, many years to teach fitness and physical education concepts in the classroom. And so I decided I would just give it a try to just see. I had no idea what I was doing. I looked like a horrible, scary clown. Probably could be on one of those scary clown movies, but I eventually learned how to do the professional clown makeup and all of that. Fast forward to about 2005. By that point, I was really seeing the benefits of laughter, not only with kids, but with adults. When we laugh, it's a social connection. And so I started hearing about this laughter yoga or laughter exercises. What was that all about? And so I went with another clown friend of mine. We went for 2 days and we became trained certified laughter leaders, which means we were using simulated laughter. Okay, so when we laugh at a joke or we find a late night comic or whatever, that's stimulated laughter. So it's subjective. But stimulated or simulated laughter is when we're faking a laugh.
Okay.
And the research is showing us that your brain and your body really don't know the difference between a fake laugh and one that you are laughing at something for real because you find it funny.
Oh, that's interesting.
It is.
That's really interesting. Yeah.
And so all of us feel better after we laugh. You know, laughter and crying come from that deep inside part of us. And so when we laugh and laugh and laugh, or we cry and cry and cry, after a while, we feel this relief, right? And so physiologically, those stress hormones are going down because, you know, as a fitness professional, and especially working with women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s or beyond, we start having these hormonal things happening with us. But anytime anybody's stressed, cortisol, it goes way up. And so when we can laugh, laughter actually has a lot of the same effects as exercise.
Wow.
Isn't that cool? Like it reduces the stress hormones. It lowers our blood pressure. And so, and a lot of other things. Of course, it's not going to make our hearts fit,
Right.
but it really is something that helps our bodies. And so these fake laughter exercises, there's actually laughter clubs all around the United States and around the world that you can go for 20 minutes or half an hour or an hour and participate in these kind of really, they seem really ridiculous,
Yeah.
but they are, it's fun after you give it a try. So it might just be that you're just going, ha, ha, ho, 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 ha, ha, ho, 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 yay! And you're all doing this together.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you get really intrigued, people can go on YouTube and just look up laughter yoga or laughter exercises, and you can find them.
Okay.
It was started in about the mid 1990s by a doctor in India, Dr. Kataria. He's the one that actually started this, combining the deep breathing of yoga with the laughter. And they come up with these really weird, kind of funny little laughter exercises. So I learned about that, and I have been doing them ever since with different adult groups. I've done them with kids, and it really is a way for you to connect with others, because that's another thing that laughter does.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. You're at the office, or you're wherever, and you hear a bunch of people laughing down the hall. What do you want to do?
Right. Yeah.
You want to go see
run
what they're
towards the
laughing
laughter,
about.
right? Yeah. Yeah.
And so laughter is a social connection for all of us. And all of us know we definitely need that these days.
Right.
So that's kind of how, I mean, I guess that was a long way of answering your question, but that's how I kind of got interested in laughter and how laughter can be medicine. And I really think it's the best medicine.
Right. Well, and it also seems, you know, you mentioned that it also combines the deep breathing techniques, which would really, like, as you said, help to lower that cortisol with that meditative, like, response.
Yes, and it gets more oxygen to your brain, again, just like exercise.
Right. Right. Yeah. Great. What about your inspiration?
My inspiration, where do I get my inspiration?
Yes. Yes. Where do you get your inspiration? Like, do you find it from, you know, when you're creating your laughter routines and stuff?
Well, I usually use the laughter within other things that I'm doing. So for example, if I'm teaching an exercise class, or I was teaching a PE class, or I'm teaching a group of, when I go out on a speaking gig and we start talking about stress and how do we manage stress, I will utilize those laughter exercises to give them an example. But as far as a routine, there are a lot of, again, you get ideas off of YouTube, and then a lot of the exercises that I learned in the training that I took. As far as laughter, where do I get my inspiration? I think all of us just need to stop and look around us, because laughter is all around us. And we know a lot of times truth is funnier than fiction. Right?
Yes.
I mean, there's so many different places where you can laugh if you just are paying attention. I think many adults, I like to say, they have their panties in a bunch. They're tight. They've lost their little inner child. Their little inner girl is not in there. I mean, she's still in there, but they haven't let her come out to play.
Yeah.
So I think allowing yourself, giving yourself permission to do that. And maybe that would be really strange to somebody who's listening, like, when was the last time your little girl came out to play? You might be like, I can't even remember the last time. But what are you passionate about? What did you used to do when you were younger, and how did you play? And that might give you some inspiration, and it gives me inspiration. I'm a musician. I love to sing, and I love to move and dance, and music is a part of me. So sometimes my inspiration might just be turning on a song and just dancing, or I'm in the car and I'm bopping back and forth in the car. And might be looking at me like, ooh, what is that lady doing? But
But now they're laughing, right?
now they're laughing at me, which is okay. On the side of my car, it says smile. All right. So I have big smile and a big smiley faces on the side of my car because I want people to smile and laugh, even just smiling. That can also send those positive endorphins up into our brains.
Right.
Which is important if we're stressed, especially.
Right. Yeah. You know, I back when I was marathoning and racing and stuff, I remember reading a study about smile while you're running, even if you're not enjoying it, you know, you're at the end of the race. If you smile, it actually helps you get through those hard times just by putting the smile. And so I always remembered that. So I was always smiling. Might have been a fake smile sometimes, but
that's okay.
That's okay.
And I've been known, if I've been around people who are really negative for a long period of time, and you know, I always say, don't let those negative people dump their garbage in your front lawn because
I love that.
Really just, they drag you down. So if I'm around somebody like that for a long period of time, I might just go in the bathroom and take a deep breath and smile.
Yeah.
And it just helps me if I just get away for a minute or two and then I come back out and I can kind of deal with the negative person again for a little while. I think there's some techniques that we can take away when we're in those stressful situations that are with laughter and just trying to bring up the bright side of things, I think is important too.
Right. So what are some of the key techniques that you would recommend? You know, like you mentioned, going into the bathroom, kind of removing yourself from that situation for a moment, right?
Yeah.
What are some other techniques that, you know, if you're in a stressful situation or something like that?
Right. With laughter, I think just trying to look at the bright side, trying to find the glass half full instead of half empty. And one of the big things I think that's helped me, and I think it's such an important thing, is gratitude. I mean, is there a way that each and every day, at some point, I try to do this every morning, and then my husband and I at night, we try to do it before we go to bed. What were you thankful for today? What were your highs? What, you know, you can talk about the lows, but end on a bright note. So it might be the sun was out today. That might be my brightest sunshine today. That was it, you know. Maybe I had a really bad day, but what was something that we have heat, we have running water. I have a washing machine in my house. I mean, I think here in the US, we are so attuned to negative news. I mean, you turn on the news, it's negative, 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 negative. And very little positive. And so it really sucks the positive stuff away from us. So we have to be intentional. I think that's a big tip is, you know, look for the positive things, but you have to be intentional in being grateful. And I think another one, which we often hear, is be kind. When the research shows that when we can give back to other people, it actually, and it helps our endorphins and it helps us to feel a whole lot better. Maybe you are even feeling better and getting more of the effects than the receiver of your kindness. So I think that's another one that's a really important technique that people can utilize when we're talking about laughter and attitude of gratitude and being kind.
And it doesn't have to be, you know, when we're talking about being kind, that doesn't have to cost you a lot of money. It doesn't have to cost you a lot of time. It's as simple as holding the door for somebody, you know, or if you're driving, letting somebody merge in front of you. It's okay. You know?
Or saying hello to somebody.
Yeah. I used to play a game when I would run. I would call it Sweet and Sour. And so I would wave and say hello to each person as I would pass them. And I would count how many sweets, how many would say hello, and how many sours were out there. And I could never understand the sours because my thought always was, if you have the ability to be out here walking, running, biking, whatever it is, you should be grateful for that. And therefore you should be smiling.
Yes. And I think, again, with that negative tone in the US, if we stop to think about it, even the poorest people in the US are richer than many people around the world in third world countries.
Right.
I mean, we have so much to be thankful for. Just the fact that you can go turn on your lights, turn the faucet on, and there's running water, and have heat for those of us that live in states where it's cold, or air conditioning. I
Right.
mean, it's incredible, really. But
Right.
we take it all for granted.
Yeah.
And then I think that brings me to my next one, which is kind of there, is mindfulness. Just being mindful of the moments. And I'm as guilty as anyone else, you know, when you're stressed or you're busy and you're running around and and maybe you're not taking time to just go, oh, look, there's a robin bird over there, or look at the flowers are coming up. We're getting to spring, or the sun is out today, or I go out and exercise and run when it's pitch black in the morning because I have to do it in the morning.
Yeah.
But I have my little headlamp on, and so I can't see a whole lot, but you know, then I can see the stars and the moon. And if I just stop and go, wow, God's created all of this, like it's amazing. But we as adults don't often take time to do that. We need to go alongside those kindergartners again, who are stopping at every little thing and going, oh, look at the ladybug, or oh, look at this. And we forget as adults.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. The stop and smell the roses, right, is a saying for a reason. Yeah. Yeah. Let's chat a little about your book, because I know that you have a great book, Keeping Your Head Above Water. So let's chat about that.
Yeah, so the book came about because I had been doing for years a program called Keeping Your Head Above Water, which is a stress management program that I do.
Everybody could use.
as a keynote program out there when I'm speaking to groups. But I always had this, I guess, dream or ambition to write a book.
Okay.
And so I had the idea for quite a long time before I actually sat down and started writing the book, because that's the hardest part, is getting started, right? On those big projects. So I wanted to tell personal stories in there, but I also wanted to have some, I guess, tangible techniques of something that they could remember.
Right.
So the book goes through what I call my LEARN acronyms.
Oh.
So these things are the techniques that you can use to help reduce stress, but also live a healthy, active lifestyle. All right, a lot of the things that you already are talking to people about, but the laughter is the first one.
Yeah.
Exercise, the attitude of gratitude, relax, reflect, and recharge, and nutrition. So those 5 things I go through in the book and talk about how do we do each of those things, but also some of my experiences and experiences I've had with other people, and maybe fitness wellness clients I've had in the past, some of the students I've had, like experiences there. And so it's not a very long book, but I self-published it. It's on Amazon, but I think I had good feedback that it's a helpful book.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really more, it really showcases how being healthy is more of a lifestyle and not just one thing, you know, not just diet or not just exercise. It really is something that that encompasses a lot of different pieces to the puzzle.
Sure. Yes, for sure. And the one, you know, I kind of hinted at the mindfulness, that relax, reflect, and recharge.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Jen, but I'm not very good at that one sometimes. Because I'm
I think we all struggle with that, right?
I'm running around a lot.
Yeah, we get caught up.
But so important. Okay, one of my favorite people that lived in the earth was Mr. Fred Rogers. And I actually teach a whole class to teachers on Mr. Rogers and how can we take, I call it lessons from the neighborhood. How can we take the lessons that he used in his TV program and take them back to the classroom, and also for our own well-being. But he had this practice every single morning. Okay, you know, the guy you saw on TV, and if you're the audience you're working with, I'm guessing, knows who Mr. Rogers
We all grew up. Yes, we all
Yes.
grew up with
Hey,
Mr.
and you
Rogers.
noticed how he was very calm and he talked very quietly.
Yeah.
And that's how he was in real life.
Yeah.
And people are like, how could he live like that? Well, one of the things that he did each and every day, he got up at 5 a.m. He spent a whole hour in reflection and prayer and reading his Bible. And then he spent another like half an hour to an hour exercising. He was an avid swimmer. So he spent about 2 hours every day in the morning before he ever got started with his day.
Yeah.
Going off to the TV studio. And I don't know if a lot of people are aware of that lifestyle
Right.
that he really lived. He was also a strict vegetarian.
Okay.
But I think that we can all take a lesson from what Mr. Rogers did to regulate his emotions. And how did he do that? I think was that quiet reflection time. And whether you're a person of faith or not, you know, it doesn't matter if you're praying to God or you're just taking time to relax, or maybe it's mindfulness, maybe it's
Right.
yoga,
Deep breathing. Right.
deep breathing, whatever it is. For me, I have a Christian faith, so I get up 5 or 5:30 and I go out and I exercise and do all of my meditation kinds of things together. So I kind of get that done first thing in the morning.
Right.
And it
Yeah.
really sets my day off in the right way to get my brain awake, but also just my attitude.
Right.
Thankfulness. I go through my different things that I try to do while I'm praying and meditating. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah. It sets a strong foundation for the rest of the day. Yeah. Yeah. It really does.
So I think that one, all of us could do a lot better job on. We are in such a busy world and we don't take time to just stop and reflect. Right. And recharge ourselves. So I need to take the same medicine for myself.
Right.
It's hard to do, but it's so important.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, you know, like I said, we get caught up in our busy lives, right? And, you know, we spend a lot of time telling people to do that. But, you know, we find that, geez, I skipped that today. But you can really tell a difference in how the rest of the day goes when you do start your day out doing that first. I do the same thing with a rosary walk. So, yeah. 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 What is one piece of advice you would give to somebody if they are feeling really stressed out, something that they could do today to change things tomorrow morning?
Well, I think that what we just talked about.
Yeah.
I think that attitude of gratitude and the smile.
Yeah.
I think if they would just, even if they, you know, maybe they don't have a half an hour, maybe they don't have an hour, but everybody has 10 minutes here and there. Could you set your alarm 10 minutes earlier? Yeah. And just get up and maybe you take a 10-minute walk and you just, what am I thankful for today?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's so important for our mental health, our mental well-being. And there's so many people with a lot of anxiety and lots of things going on, but I think we've got to flip our attitude sometimes. And I'm not saying that there aren't things we need to be worried about and concerned about. Right. But I think all of us could do a better job with that one thing today.
Right. Right. Yeah. I know. I don't know if you're familiar with the mindset, positive leadership guy, John Gordon, but he talks about starting his day with a gratitude walk. And like you said, it's 10 minutes. And during that walk, you know, he talks to himself about what he's grateful for. And he said the difference that it has made in his life is amazing. And ever since he started doing that, things have been, have really changed for him in a positive way.
Yeah, and I think along with that is get off the devices.
Oh, yeah.
And you put the device down for half an hour, put it away, don't answer, don't text. Maybe it's before you go to bed.
Right.
I need some time. Maybe I'm just going to read a book.
Yeah.
Or it's in that morning time where I can just be in the present.
Mhm.
We are so distracted, Jen.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
there's so many things going on. And if you just, I'm amazed when I go out to eat sometimes. I look over and all the kids are on phones and the parents are on phones. And not long ago, I saw grandma out with a little preschooler. The preschooler's on the phone and the grandma's on the phone at the same time. And they didn't hardly interact at all. And it was just like, oh, this made me so
It's
sad.
sad. It is sad. Yeah. I like when I see couples, out on date night and each one is on their phone. And I'm thinking, what was the point of the date night? Couldn't you have done that at home?
Yeah.
You could have sat on the couch at home with your phones.
And I know that's hard for parents with teens to try to get them to get off those phones, but we've got to connect
Yeah.
as a family
Mhm.
and as a society. We're just
Right. Right. Oh, well, Sally, if anybody wants to find you, where is the best place to find you?
well, they can find my book on my book website, which is just my name, SallyShaverDubois.com.
Okay.
They can also, if they're interested in speaking, or they can find videos of me on YouTube. I'm at DoLifeWell.com.
Okay.
And so that's just DoLifeWell.com. That's the name of my business. And the YouTube page is, I think, the same. You can find that.
Okay.
Or on Facebook. I have a Facebook page as well. So yeah, I would love to connect with your listeners.
Wonderful.
And I so appreciate you having me on here today.
Well, we appreciate you sharing today. It was fantastic, and we appreciate all that you shared about laughter and the importance of laughter and the learn method.
Yes.
So thank you for joining us.